So when it comes to systems that are used on computers, Windows is probably the most popular one currently around for businesses and home as well. Sorry, Apple guys, but it's true. But no system is ever 100% secure. Fortunately, there are some things you can do to make sure your Windows 10 system is a little bit more secure. And in this video, we're going to run down some of those things you can do to make sure your Windows system is as secure as possible. Let the download begin. So if you're new here and you want to learn how to use and troubleshoot your devices plus some other cool tech stuff, we can help. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications so you don't miss when we release some cool, helpful content. So in hardening any system, making sure that it's as secure as possible, one of the first things you always want to do is make sure your systems are as updated as possible. And that is no different with Windows. The only caveat to this is sometimes when you install updates for Windows, when they're first released, it can actually break your system. Sometimes Windows updates or patch Tuesdays, as they call it, can end up breaking your system. So what you want to do is kind of set a update window for yourself, installing patches maybe 1 or 2 days after they're released, just to make sure everything is good to go before you install it in your system. And you can always look at your update options in your settings and security and your Windows update, and in those advanced settings, you can go in and kind of set your updates to run at a certain time and frame. You want to make sure that it's as automated as possible, because you will always forget to check for updates. That's not something that you do on a regular basis. So luckily enough, Windows has the mechanisms kind of built in for you to go in and set those updates to automatically install in your system. Making sure your system is as updated as possible is definitely one of the key and most important things you can do to make sure your system is as secured as possible. So the next thing you want to do may sound like a no-brainer, but a lot of people, for easy access to their computer, sometimes don't include any kind of login mechanism. So you want to include either a password, a PIN, a Windows hello that uses your face to log into the computer, something similar to what you would do on your cell phone. You don't want your cell phone to stay unsecured with any kind of PIN code or lock to get in. You want to do the same thing for your computer or laptop. You want to make sure that you have some kind of login mechanism that's going to stop people from accessing your computer without your knowledge. So putting a PIN, putting a password, putting some kind of security on the front of that computer. You won't believe how easy it is to deter someone from stealing your information or logging into your computer without your knowledge, simply just by putting something there that they have to enter in order to gain access to your stuff. And in your Windows 10, you can always go into these settings and these sign-in options and check out some of the other options they have to sign in that are a lot more easier and still as secure as entering passwords and phrases into your actual login mechanism. Now, the other thing you want to do is make sure you're running some kind of antivirus or anti-malware software in your system at all times. I can't stress this enough. There's a ton of different free antiviruses that are serviceable that you can use on your computer. You don't necessarily have to go out and spend money on the most expensive antivirus or anti-malware stuff. Something like Malwarebytes or some of the free antiviruses that are available would be good enough for just, what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. But make sure you're running at least something. Windows Defender does come pre-installed in Windows 10. You want to make sure that's turned on. It has some firewall options. It has some different antivirus options. I'm going to include some in the description of this video that you can check out and download onto your system. But you want to make sure that there's something on your system running that can detect threats as they come in, because we do a lot on the computer and you have a lot of information stored there. You want to make sure it is as secured as it can possibly be, and an antivirus software does just that. So now if you're this user of the computer and you have different users that have different accounts on the computer itself, you want to go into your settings and accounts, and you want to make sure that the users that shouldn't have administrative access don't have administrative access if you're the only administrator on that computer. What administrative access really is just giving full reign to the computer. That user can basically install, uninstall, change user permissions. That user has full access to do anything and everything on the computer that is possible. So if you're sharing your computer with someone that you don't want to be able to install stuff, or you don't want to be able to view your documents or your information, you want to make sure they don't have administrative access rights on that computer. So going in and changing their rights to something just like user versus administrator is a simple security tip you can do to make sure your computer is as secure as possible. Making sure that you're checking the rights of the users on the computer is a big tip. And then the other tips are simple things like uninstalling apps that you're not using, making sure apps don't have certain permissions to do things in the settings itself of the computer. And also just encrypting your hard drive could also be a pro tip that you can use. The trick with BitLocker encryption on Windows is it encrypts your drive, so if somebody was to remove the drive from your computer, they couldn't just plug it into another computer and view the information you have. If you want to go that extra mile, you can definitely do that. That's available on Windows 10 computers as well. One of the main tips I have with any kind of system is just do as much as you can to secure as much as you can secure without it interfering in your day-to-day use. So when it becomes too crazy where you have to enter 10 passwords in just to do one thing, that may be a little bit over the top, but you want to make sure you're doing at least the bare minimum of keeping your system as updated as possible with those updates, making sure that you have some kind of sign-in password associated to your system, checking to make sure that you have some kind of antivirus running on your system as well, and also looking at different user permissions in your system to make sure only the people that you want to have administrative access to your system have administrative access to your system. And then you want to go in and start removing any kind of programs you're not using on a day-to-day basis. If you follow these tips, your system should be as secured as it needs to be, and you shouldn't run into any kind of security issues with your Windows 10 PC. So if you have a security tip that I didn't share in this video, go ahead and share that in the comment section below this video. And also, if you have any questions about securing your Windows 10 PC, share that in the comment section as well. Be more than happy to answer any questions you guys may have. Now, if you want some tips on how to secure maybe your Android phone, go ahead and click on this video here. This video is something that YouTube believes you would enjoy watching. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you don't miss when we release some cool, helpful content like this one. Until next time, guys, peace.